The rise of unconventionals in the US and their possible spread to other parts of the world could really have the biggest impact on the global economy. But what it does point to is the need for proper long-term strategic energy policy rather than just reactive or politically expedient.
Okay, what is proper long-term energy policy in your view?
Well, I think you need to look at the whole mix and the transition. It took us 100 years to move from biomass into coal, 70 years from coal into oil. Gas today is about where oil was 50 years ago. And yet you sometimes have these renewable targets and the emphasis that politicians put on them that doesn't reflect the truth.
The renewable targets, there are several different policies. For example, Germany and Japan have gone non-nuclear. They've got big renewable targets. George Osborne recently in the UK has basically said this rush for gas, saying, look, we do want to do that, but we also need to keep consumers' bills down. Do you understand that position?
I can certainly understand that. I think 15% and rising of the UK electricity consumers' bill now effectively subsidizes renewables, a lot of it going to foreign energy companies. If you look at the energy mix worldwide, only 2% is non-hydro and renewables and biofuels, and 80% is still fossil fuels. But to hear most politicians in Europe, you'd think it was the other way around. If we look at Germany, for example, with possibly the strongest targets for building up renewable capacity, they actually have rising carbon emissions because they keep burning coal to back up those renewables. The US, ironically, having said no to Kyoto, having said no to targets, because of the shale gas revolution, has the lowest emissions since 1992 in over 20 years. Plus, it's become hugely economically competitive, and it's actually the biggest driver behind their recovery.
I need to ask you about the Algeria hostage situation, the jihadism we're seeing in Mali. What impact will that have on investors in North African energy, do you think?
Well, in the Middle East and North Africa, we've got a lot of issues with energy subsidies. We currently we use $500 billion plus a year just on energy subsidies, and we have the fastest growing demand in the world, so we're getting high on our own supply. But then you add the effects of the Arab Spring, the political uncertainty, and this latest attack that has certainly sent shockwaves through the industry and through the region, because as the facts are coming out, it seems to have an international mix to it. There were even links made yesterday to the Benghazi attacks.